Hello everyone, this is Dark Mask back with another video about the game Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be looking at a character who is already in Opera Omnia, but has yet to receive an LD skill, and theorize what I believe that skill could be. LD weapons are not quite out in the global version of Opera Omnia just yet, but I still enjoy what I have seen released in the Japanese version so far, so I thought this would be a fun experiment. Just a reminder, this is just fan-made content for the game, and is not meant to be taken as official information by Square Enix. In this video, I'll be talking about the Evelyn Prince from Final Fantasy IV, Edge Geraldine. Currently, Edge is a thunder magic-based evasion tank in Opera Omnia, who can build up his EX quickly with shock, draw enemy fire and evade with smokescreen, or grant evasion to the entire party with Blitz Barrage. The one drawback I notice with Edge's kit, however, is his lack of damage output. He is still great at what he does, being able to evade attacks and spread that evasion to the party, but his high turn rate and speed just doesn't make up for the fact his damage is pretty mediocre. That's why I attempted to make his LD skill in a way to resolve that hindrance. Before getting into his LD skill though, I wanted to give quick thoughts in regards to Edge's possible selection for his weapon and C210 armor. Full discretion, many of Edge's weapons are katanas with Japanese names, so forgive me if my pronunciation is lacking. For his LD weapon, my first choice would be for the Ama no Murakumo, or very roughly translated the Heavenly Cloud Sword. Even though this is not a weapon he typically uses in the games, it was used as one of his weapons from Final Fantasy Record Keepers, and I like the design they used for Edge's version of it. Alternate options I've found for Edge's LD weapon could be the Kotetsu, the Masamune, or his ultimate sword, the Mitsu no Kami. As for Edge's 210 armor, which would allow him to exceed the Brave Cap, I would not be surprised if it ended up being his signature outfit from his character model. Speaking of Edge's character model, the release of his LD weapon may also mean the release of Edge's alternate costume, and following the pattern set by Paladin Cecil and Kain, I would love to see Edge get his updated look from Final Fantasy IV The After Years. I am very glad that so far Opera Omnia seems to be taking inspiration from the After Years when it comes to costumes for the four characters, not to mention the recent addition of Theodore in Act 3 of the main story. And speaking of the After Years, that leads me to my suggestion for Edge's LD skill, his ultimate band ability, Advent of the Phoenix. Typically, Advent of the Phoenix is an attack that can only be performed with the Evelyn Four, the four elemental ninjas that act as Edge's disciples. But seeing that Edge is already capable of splitting himself to use Blitz Mirage, I don't think it would be outlandish to suggest that Edge can simply split himself 5 ways to use Advent of the Phoenix by himself. Advent of the Phoenix would be a 5-hit magic AoE Brave attack plus AoE HP attack delivered 5 times. It'll do split damage to the enemy party, be able to exceed Edge's max Brave by 150%, and like most group LD skills, it'll do more damage when attacking a single target. If Evelyn's teachings are also active, it'll change Advent of the Phoenix into doing Thunder Element magic damage as opposed to non-elemental damage. Lastly, it'll also grant Edge his unique LD buff called Evelyn Doppelganger for 8 turns. Evelyn Doppelganger is my response to Edge's low damage output, and is a special buff that makes it so all of Edge's Brave attacks and Brave plus HP attacks are delivered twice. So for instance, Shock would be a 4-hit Thunder Magic Brave attack plus HP attack delivered twice, while his Brave plus attack would be a 6-hit Thunder Magic Brave attack, doing twice as many Brave hits. For most of his attacks, this means he'll be delivering an extra 20,000 to 40,000 points of damage per attack, assuming of course he's hitting for max damage, which should put him on par with other damage-dealing tank units. As for the attack itself, I decided to make it non-elemental base because Edge is entirely a thunder-based damage unit, even though Advent of the Phoenix looks like a fire attack, and was in the After Years. However, there are other characters that have LD skills that are non-elemental in spite of looking otherwise, Ramza's LD skill Winterstorm being the perfect example. However, I could be swayed into letting Advent of the Phoenix be fire element as long as Evelyn's teaching still adds the thunder element to it, making it a dual element thunder-fire attack, although that would still require a player to be more careful on what missions they can bring Edge into. As a final note, when Edge and the Evelyn Four use Advent of the Phoenix, they recite a special mantra: Endless night, lit by fiery wings, bound by the darting, dancing sword, let it slice the encompassing dark, and sound the tolling bell of tomorrow. Now we call forth Evelyn's ancient technique, Advent of the Phoenix. While the mantra is too long to recite in its entirety, I do think it would be a nice touch if when Edge uses his LD skill, he still recites his part. Now we call forth Evelyn's ancient technique, just like how Exdeath and Ramza have extra text to some of their attacks. That concludes my Opera Omnia thesis video for Edge's LD weapon and skill. As I've said, this was a fun experiment into a slightly different kind of thesis, looking into a character we already have in the game, and using an upcoming mechanic to try to improve their shortcomings, while also trying to introduce more lore into their character. I don't know what Edge will eventually get when he gets his upgrades, but I am certainly looking forward to it, even if it ends up being my ideas are completely off the mark. If you liked my video, or if you have any feedback, I would love for you to comment and let me know. I would also love to hear what characters you want to see get their LD weapons, or what Final Fantasy characters you would like to see added to Opera Omnia. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my rambling. Good luck, and stay safe.